In a world that is heating up, we all need disruptive technology to achieve the UN goal of clean cooling for all. The way we currently cool is energy and pollutant intensive in both the cold chain for food and medicine security and for our living environment, that's for our buildings and our transport. Cooling demand is now set to increase and exceed our requirements for heating by 2050. And this is very much driven by population growth, by the urbanization and growth of the middle class, and of course, climate change. Today we'll focus on the cold chain. In the West, we take our cold chain for granted. About 95% of our food passes through a cold chain. In the rapidly developing world, China and India, for example, very little of the food today passes through the cold chain. It's about 20% in China and only about 3% in India. And this lack of cold chain means that there is 30 to 40% post-harvest loss of food. That, of course, has implications to the farmer, loss of income to the farmer, loss of water, loss of nitrates, but also catastrophically 1.4 billion tons of waste food per annum. And with that, the associated 3.6 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalents from the waste food. It is no surprise, therefore, that China and India have committed to invest over $100 billion to create their cold chains. When we look at a cold chain system, in order for them not to be breaks in the link of the cold chain, we need a lot of trucks and transportation. We need a lot of cold trucks to achieve a cold chain. Today in the world, we have about 2.5 million cold trucks. And annually, they pollute 75 megatons of CO2, 135,000 tons of NOx, and 7,000 tons of PM. This is particularly damaging to our cities. In China, China is taking great leadership in building a cold chain. As we know, it is very much a part of the Belt and Road program. The 13th five-year plan, issued in 2016, stated it was important to strengthen logistic infrastructure and develop a green cold chain. So Dearman is an engine system that produces cooling that runs on liquid air or liquid nitrogen, and therefore produces no carbon dioxide, NOx, or particulate matter at the point of use. We have a core engine, as I have described, and our applications, the first applications, are all related to the cold chain, beginning with the Transport Refrigeration Unit, referred to as the TRU. In addition to the TRU, which is the larger truck, this technology can be applied in first-mile mobile blast cooling at the fields, and finally, in the electric step van for last-mile delivery in the smaller vehicles. An electric step van and a Dearman cooling system is a completely clean vehicle in your cities. All of our technology has been independently validated by some of the best universities in the United Kingdom, and we operate on a total cost of ownership on par with diesel. Today, there are 2.5 million transport refrigeration units in the world, and this is projected to grow to nearly 8 million over the next 10 to 15 years. In China, you have about 100,000 cold trucks. You're going to need 3 million cold trucks in order to have an efficient cold chain. What does 3 million cold trucks look like if you're operating on an old diesel system? On a transport refrigeration unit, there are 2 diesel engines. There is the diesel engine at the front that drives the primary powertrain, and that's a regulated engine. There is a secondary engine on the back of the truck, or at the top of the truck, that is dedicated to cooling the box. Even though it's a smaller engine, it emits 29 times more NOx and 6 times more particulate matter than the front engine, because it is not regulated. If you look at that whole truck system, 80% of the pollution comes from the back cooling engine. And this is the part that Dearman would like to eliminate. Dearman can remove the diesel engine at the back and operate in a completely clean environment for your cities. If you allow 3 million diesel coal trucks on your road, it's the same as adding 800 million more cars on the road in terms of the particulate matter that they will emit, or another 200 million diesel cars on the road in terms of the NOx. There is no compromise with the Dearman TRU system. There is no environmental impact to using Dearman at the point of use, but in addition to this, low noise emission, it has the ability to pull down temperature very quickly and operate in a very steady, regulated condition. You don't have to do this at a price compromise. The total cost of ownership is on a par with existing diesel systems. The Dearman system will accommodate and cope a full range of operational requirements, the daily duty cycle of fleet operators. We can refuel it quickly. There is no restrictions on operating in cities. And the way we have designed and packaged our equipment, it can easily fit into your trucking systems as existing diesel systems do. We are often asked, but where would we get the liquid nitrogen from? Well, there's more good news. Liquid nitrogen is in surplus supply in all developed countries of the world. Liquid nitrogen is the byproduct to the liquefaction of air by the industrial gas industry, who are seeking oxygen for industrial purposes. So today, there is a significant surplus supply of liquid nitrogen, and this map just gives you a sense of how much is available and where it's available in China. So confident are we about the source of liquid nitrogen that this is a service that we will provide for our customers. So in fact, our customers don't need to worry about fuel supply. We will provide that. So what has Dearman done to date? Dearman is a British company, as I said, so we focused all our work initially in Europe. We have been working with some major brands in Europe, Unilever, Marks and Spencer's, and Sainsbury's. We've been doing 3 years of extensive studies and trial work with these companies. We have a tremendous amount of data that has been validated by independent academic institutions, and we are now, thankfully, at the point of fully deploying our technology. We own all our IP, we own the blueprint for all the components, and we are very able to pick up the total Dearman design and transport that anywhere in the world. But we do, in fact, welcome the idea of QR codes and the full traceability of food through the cold chain system. Because one of the things that our system has proved over the last 3 years is very accurate at holding temperature. So with intelligent packaging and QR codes, we will be able to prove that when food is delivered through our transport systems, we will be able to deliver to the temperatures that you have specified and required. So what are we doing in China? We're very proud to announce that we have a collaboration agreement here in China with the China Energy Conservation and Environmental Group, CSEP, and with the Qingdao Industrial Asset Management Group. In addition to that, we have partnered with Cuomo Capital Partners to be our operating partners here in China, so that we can enter the Chinese market as quickly and as successfully as possible. What does that require beyond where we have started? For any clean tech enterprise entering the Chinese market, and in order to be able to have a rapid deployment, we believe you need to have all these stakeholders connected, communicated, and on board. Obviously, government plays a very important role to provide the policy support, but also grant funding and the regulation to drive the clean technology adoption. We understand the importance of academia to help provide some expertise, but also the independent verification of the technology and its impact. We are very excited to be engaging with our first Chinese customers, with the liquid gas suppliers, with Chinese manufacturers. We're a technology company, we don't manufacture anything. With the bodybuilders here, and of course, our Chinese financial partners. We welcome opportunity to deploy our technology here in China, and are very excited about what we can achieve together. Thank you very much.